At the very edge of what's now West Virginia, where two rivers collide and the mountains press tight around a narrow strip of land, sits a town so small you could walk across it in 10 minutes. And yet, this quiet place has changed the course of American history more than once. This is Harpers Ferry National Historical Park. Today, it feels peaceful. Brick streets, church bells, hikers passing through with backpacks. But beneath the calm, this ground has heard gunfire, explosions, and the footsteps of armies. Because long before the Civil War officially began, the first spark was struck right here. There's a reason this place mattered. The Potomac River meets the Shenandoah River here, a natural crossroads. Waterways, railroads, mountain passes. If you controlled Harpers Ferry, you controlled the gateway between North and South. So in 1799, the federal government built something valuable here. An armory. Thousands of rifles, thousands of muskets. Enough weapons to supply an army. It made this tiny town strategically priceless and dangerously tempting. By 1859, America was already tearing itself apart. The country argued bitterly over one question: slavery. Some believed it was an institution worth protecting. Others believed it was a sin that had to end, no matter the cost. One man decided talking was over. His name was John Brown. Funded by wealthy Northern backers who believed in his cause, he gathered 21 followers, and he believed violence was the only answer. On a Sunday night in October, Brown and his men slipped quietly into town. No uniforms, no drums, no warning. They cut telegraph wires, captured the armory, took hostages, including Lewis Washington, the great-grandnephew of George Washington himself. Brown had chosen him deliberately. A Washington family member held captive while trying to overthrow the system Washington helped build. And then they waited. Brown's plan was bold, almost impossible. He would seize the weapons, arm enslaved people across the South, and ignite a massive uprising. He believed Harpers Ferry would be the first domino. But the uprising never came. Instead, the town surrounded him. Farmers, militia, railroad workers. Gunfire echoed between the brick walls. Two of Brown's own sons fell in the fighting. By morning, Brown and his remaining men were trapped inside a small engine house, pinned down, outnumbered. No escape. 10 of his 21 men lay dead. When U.S. Marines finally arrived to storm the building, they were led by a Virginia colonel. His name was Robert E. Lee. Beside him, a young lieutenant named J.E.B. Stuart. Two men who would soon become Confederate legends, capturing a man who died trying to end slavery. History has a bitter sense of irony. The fight lasted only minutes. Brown, bleeding, captured, calm. The rebellion had failed. Or so it seemed. Brown was tried for treason, found guilty, sentenced to hang. But something strange happened. Instead of fading into history, he became a symbol. To the South, he was a terrorist. To many in the North, he was a martyr. Church bells rang on the day of his execution. Writers praised him. Songs were written about him. Union soldiers would march into battle singing, "John Brown's body lies a-moldering in the grave," a song that became the battle hymn of the Republic. And suddenly, Americans weren't arguing anymore. They were choosing sides. 16 months later, the first shots of the Civil War were fired. Not here, but many believed the war truly began in Harpers Ferry, because this is where compromise died. And the violence didn't end. During the Civil War, Harpers Ferry changed hands again and again And again. Union, Confederate, Union, 8 times. Buildings burned, families fled. The armory was destroyed. By war's end, much of the town was rubble. But something remarkable rose from the ruins. At Storer College, one of the first integrated schools in America, formerly enslaved men and women came to learn to read, to write, to build new lives. In the same town where violence tried to force freedom, education quietly finished the work. Today, the rifles are gone. The soldiers are gone. The smoke has cleared, and Harpers Ferry feels small again, quiet, almost forgotten. But if you stand here at dusk, when the rivers go still, you can almost feel it, the weight of what happened, the moment a nation tipped toward war, all from one tiny town, caught between 2 rivers and one impossible idea, that freedom was worth fighting for. Sometimes history isn't written in capitals or battlefields. Sometimes it begins on a single brick street,